Welcome to my next video about the Dark Eye core rules. I'm talking about the professions, and I'm talking now about the spellcaster professions. The first profession here is the Elven profession, the Wildnisläufer. That is kind of a ranger or a hunter. The hunters within their tribes, they are very close to their tribes, like every elf is, and they have to be there regularly, but they may leave the tribe and live the life of a lone wolf or something for a while they are hunting until they return. And so there are an elven kind of hunter. Next profession is the spellweaver. The spellweaver is kind of a magician among the elves. They lean more towards magic and casting it, and are more skilled in it and more interested in it. They're more interested in old mysteries, in old elven artifacts and stuff like that. Basically, every elf can cast magic, so a magician within elves has a different status as among humans, where not everybody can cast magic. Next profession is a witch, and I think I should talk about witches in general before I talk about her here. Witches are organized in sisterhoods, are they called? That's my translation. Most witches are female. You can also be a male witch, but it's just very rare. And the groups in which they organize are called sisterhoods. And a sisterhood, all the witches within a sisterhood usually share a common belief or common lifestyle, common philosophy, and they also always have the same kind of familiar. As you can see, this witch is holding a cat, and she's from a sisterhood where every witch has a cat as a familiar, and these familiars are special animals. When becoming a witch, the witch has to find this special animal that's special for her special cat in this case, and then there will be a ritual, and they will bind to each other, and the familiar is then able to cast spells, a limited selection of very specific spells for the familiar, or be able to communicate with the witch, and it's more intelligent and more capable than a usual cat would be in that case. And usually the kind of familiar that is common, or that is the cats within the witches within a sisterhood have, is usually bound to that lifestyle and to the philosophy and to the characteristics of the witches, because the witches and the familiar might share some specific characteristics. For example, this is a cat witch, or of the sisterhood of the beauties of the night, and they are very social on one hand, but they're also like independent and unpredictable, and they are not like the witches you would think of from a fairy tale, which live in the forest. They live in big cities and are part of society and are very social. And the next witches are quite different. They are your witches who are living in solitude, not too close to the next village, somewhere in the forest. They are healers. They may not live with the people and too close to them, but you would usually help them when they are sick, when they need medication, when they need to heal wounds or something like that. Then they usually would help them. So they're kind of healers or something. And these witches have a toad as familiar. And I think the toads they are the best spellcasters among the. I have that in mind. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Next is another kind of witch. It is a raven witch. Raven witches are kind of seers or fortune tellers or something like that. And they can see into the future. They often work as fortune tellers on fairs or something, traveling the land with a crystal ball. And they are more mysterious and a bit more dark and stuff like that. And they have, as raven witches, the raven as a familiar. Yeah, and the sisterhood of them is called the Seers of Today and Tomorrow, and for the Toad Witches, the sisterhood is called the Daughters of the Earth. The next spellcasters that are described here are the magicians. The magicians have a very special role within the world of the Dark Eye, because just from how they are treated within the world, because they have a special status, they are kind of properly educated, often at academies, but also by independent magicians, and they get a special seal that shows everybody that these are official magicians, and there are certain laws regarding them. There is a complete book of laws regarding magicians and also other spellcasters, but mostly these laws are about magicians, and magicians cannot be treated like normal humans when they are committing a crime or have been committing a crime. There are certain laws how magicians have to behave, and how they, for example, how they have to dress and what they are allowed to carry for weapons and for armor, to keep the magicians at bay. But also these laws try to protect the magicians from other people. And how a lot of countries, kingdoms, the Midden Realm use these laws, but only how much they are enforced and what part of these laws. I think there are several books that are filled by these laws, and how these laws are enforced and which of them are really strictly used is pretty much depending on where you are. For example, I think one of the laws says a magician has always to dress in a way that he can be recognized as a magician. And throughout the rule book, you will see certain characters, special iconic characters you will also see in other rule books. For example, like the woman here, and she is actually a magician. And when she was first shown, and you can see this better in other images. Where was it? Down here. If she wouldn't have the staff and wouldn't be shooting this fire dart, she doesn't really look like a magician. She could also be a dancer or someone, or just a random woman on the street. And people complained about that she doesn't dress like it is supposed to be. And then the designers of the game said, yeah, that is true, but she comes from a region where they just don't have a high emphasis on this, and where they actually don't care how she actually dresses. And when she moves into a different region and comes to a different country, and then she might be like, she might have to dress differently, or she might be get into trouble with her way of dressing, or people would look at her suspiciously because she is not abiding to the law or something like that. Also, the magicians are special. All the spellcasters are special because they have to. When you create one, you have to buy for your character. You have to buy a tradition, and that tradition limits you in what spells you can cast, because you can only cast magician spells as a magician with few exceptions, and as a witch, mostly witch spells with exceptions, and so on. And this magician is just an example of someone who is not organized in a guild. There are 3 guilds and there is an example of a magician from every guild. He is not within a guild, and this also gives him kind of special status. I guess I'm not quite sure what it means for a magician when he is not within one of the guilds. I think there are certain laws that regard the guilds. Usually you would be from a certain guild, like this magician. She is a gray mage. There are different guilds of black, white, and gray. And the gray mages are simply very liberal. For example, magicians, as they are so formally trained at academies, would look down on someone like a witch or an elven who is not only not formally trained but also has a completely different take. Witches and elves are casting more using their intuition, and for a magician, his intelligence is more important, also in terms of attribute values. And so magicians would look down on these others. The gray magicians are not so. They're very liberal. They accept everybody. There are even schools, academies, kind of schools of gray magicians where also witches or other spellcasters would teach. And I guess if that would be the case, if a witch would teach at certain other academies, that would probably ruin the name of the academy. So she's kind of, and those magicians are also more likely to have spells or no spells of other spellcaster types, of other traditions. In the 4th edition rules, and I hope they bring that back for the 5th edition, there were a lot of academies described where you could come from. There are academies all over the continent. In nearly every society there are different, in big cities there are academies, and all they have different spells they teach and different stories behind them, and some are really well known. And there were even several source books just describing the academies and what life there is and how they are trained and what the worldview of the academies and how you are taught there and stuff like that. Here you only have an example of a magician that was not trained in an academy by an independent magician. You have here a gray mage, then here a black mage. The black mages are more people who they are less ruthless. They're not necessarily evil. Most of them are the typical like demon worshipping or demon invocating evil mage that doesn't care for any law, but mostly they are people who say, I don't limit my science, or science is most important than anything else. They don't care so much for laws, and they see magic as mostly they see magic as a way to gain power, and they might be ruthless at it. They may not be necessarily unlawful, but they see it as a way to gain power. Like other people see money to a way to gain power and use it, and not necessarily do this in an unlawful way. Some people are, for example, also black mages or belong to the Black Guild because they are just a bit crazy. Everybody thinks their worldview and their philosophy and how they view the world and the gods and everything, they are just nuts. Yeah, they don't fit in any other guild, or they are just a bit crazy, and that is why they are within the Black Guild, because there everybody is on its own and no one really cares, and they can teach whatever they want, no matter how crazy it simply is. The last guild and the last example of the mage is a white mage. The white mage are the law-abiding and try to cast spells and not be against any of the laws of the god or something, which is quite difficult because the highest of the gods, the god of light, is also a god of anti-magic, of against magic. He is against magic. That is actually what is taught a lot in the church, but that this is about to change. They're more liberal arms in that church who think magic is only bad when it is used in a bad way, or there is certain bad magic like calling demons or something that is bad, but there's also good magic, for example when you heal someone. And there is currently a political change going on within the church, and there's even a campaign about this topic where you can take part in this change, on whatever side you want, probably most likely as an adventurer on the side pro magic. That's it for the spellcasters. The next are the priests. I think I'll end this video at this point and make a third video about the professions of the priests. So if you have any questions here, or if you have noticed that I might have said something wrong, comment, write me a message, and I'm try to explain or try to correct what I got wrong. For now, that's it. Next video will be about the priests. Bye.